Hi, welcome. This is one of the 4 videos I put together for my series, Make Miracles Every Day, Elevate Your Daily Outlook. And this was inspired by the Course in Miracles, which I have enjoyed the benefits of reading for many years. And they state that a miracle is simply a shift in perception. And I've found that to be true. Something that has seemed troublesome or less than wanted, if I look at it from a different point of view, it can be very empowering. It can help me accept it. So these videos are about how we can do that. And they are in the format of expressive arts. You know, the expressive arts are about expression. And expression is what we need for our emotions to keep moving. There's a big misconception about emotions. People get scared of emotions. Oh, if I show them, I'm too angry, I'm too quiet, I'm too this, I'm too that, I'm too sad. No, emotions are simply a signal to let us know how we're reacting to the world. They let us know we're alive and how we're engaged in it. But they must keep moving. It's based on a French word, means to move, émouvoir. And so they're not good or bad. They're just to be recognized as signals telling you what would be helpful and to move on. Now, that's great, but very often we'll say, well, we're feeling kind of yucky or down, or we don't know, but something's a little bit off, and we really don't have the tools to interpret them. And this is where the expressive arts come in. And that is what you are experiencing, hopefully, if you're enjoying the other videos. They're expressive arts formats. They're a very non-threatening way to keep your emotions moving and to also learn to interpret what they mean in very fun, playful ways. So this particular video is called Mark Making and Writing / Journaling, because we'll be making simple marks. And I specifically do not use the word art making, because too often people, when you say art making, oh, I'm not an artist, they think of the commercial type of artist who is rewarded. And this is personal art with the results not being judged by yourself or anyone else. It is simply an expression of yourself. No judgment. So there's no right or wrong here. Here we go. All righty. So what we need for supplies: some writing implements. Now, I love just plain magic markers, simple, no fancy art materials. However, you can use paints, you can use finger paints, you can use a pencil and a couple different colored pens. But what we want here is we want to make sure that you have 2 different implements, 2 different colors, so that we're going to be doing some journaling with questions and answers. And we want you to distinguish with what you're writing with between the answers and the questions. It's important for the brain to know who is speaking and who is being questioned in this interview format. But first, we're going to start with putting marks on paper, and most importantly, you need to find something blank white paper. Something with lines is more in the left brain logical arena, and in this exercise, we're going to be culling from both sides of the brain. What we're doing briefly is to cull from the right side of the brain, which many of you have heard of. Oh, they're a right brain person, an artist. But the right brain's more about intuition, inner child, emotions, and the right brain thinks in images. okay? And the left brain is more logical with words and lines. So we want to distinguish between the two. So we don't want to bring lines into the mark making experience. Blank paper, very important. Okay, all right. So that's easy. Piece of cardboard, recycled, whatever, as long as it doesn't have lines on it. That would be great. Okay, so now you know what to do. Get relaxed. Something as simple as a couple deep breaths, a couple really deep yawns. You may have to kind of practice your yawns for a few times before they become real yawns. And a little bit of movement can be great as well to relax you. If you do move, that's wonderful. If you move to music, that's also wonderful. However, if you move to music, have it be instrumental music, no lyrics. Once again, the left side of the brain is more about words and logic, and we don't want you triggered by words into a whole scenario of some story. We want to keep things clean and clear and open through this process to allow the right brain to express, the right hemisphere of the brain to express itself. So by combining the two, we use the brain, both sides of the brain, for everything we do. However, they each have specific attributes that contribute to the whole. And this particular method of mark making and journaling was used by Lucia Capacchione. She wrote over 20 books. I highly recommend you reading some of them. She has an inner child book. She has The Power of Your Other Hand, which is all about the history of the left hand. The Creative Journal, with wonderful exercises to cull information from each side of the brain and to make sense of it. So Lucia Capacchione, wonderful resource. And this is an exercise that she introduced me to, and it's so powerful. I use it very often when I'm not quite certain what's up for me, but want a little bit of guidance. It's very simple. It doesn't take long. So back to what I just started with about relaxation. Make sure you relax. Make sure you're not going to be disturbed. This is your personal time. If you don't think you can take 15, 20 minutes for yourself, look at your life again and rearrange it, because that is not healthy to take some solitary time for 15 or 20 minutes. This is what you need for self-care and nurturing. In most cases, that is extremely important for healthy balance. All righty. So with or without music, bring a situation to mind, or something as simple as what is it that I'm not recognizing right now? What do I want to know about? Give me guidance. You can do a general question like that. It's very effective if you're more focused about a situation you would like to get more information on. But just a general question, where am I at right now, is perfectly fine. So keep that in your mind and listen to music, instrumental music only, or not. Let's just pick up one of your writing utensils and start making marks, whatever you're led to do, with your non-dominant hand. And your non-dominant hand is the hand that you do not normally write with. Now, some people are ambidextrous, some people are lefties, but with this exercise, it just your non-dominant hand is the one that you do not normally write with or write the least with. And just start making marks, let it flow. You can use more than one color if you would like to. When it comes to journaling, we want to make sure that you have two separate colors, one for questions and one for answers. But for this, to just relax and be led to make a free-form design. Whatever comes out, you might be pressing more firmly at one point, or you might just be scribbling very lightly. You might be making sharp, clear marks. You might be doing a series of squares. It's just whatever you're led to do. Allow yourself to do it. Keep breathing. And, have fun with it. Go, wow, be curious about, you don't have to do anything. Just try to let your hand lead you. And then after you've started that for a few minutes with your non-dominant hand, pick up a marker or whatever writing implement you have in a different color and start doing the same thing with that hand, and have both of the hands working together, making marks. And however they come out, they might blend over each other, they might stay separately on this blank page. It doesn't matter. It's just what you're led to do. Try to tune in to let your hands guide you. And when you feel you've expressed enough, that it's time for you to stop, stop. It can be 5 minutes, it can be 15 minutes. Okay, so then you've got your piece of personal artwork. Artwork that's the most important. Why? Because it's your artwork. It's created from you. And it's nobody else's business what it looks like. But it has been guided by the inner you. So be proud of it, be curious of it if you can be, and get used to these wonderful tools that we have to learn more about ourselves. Because the better we know ourselves, the better we can relate to other people, and then usually we're happier if we can relate well to others. We're meant to be connected. Okay, so then we'll start the writing journaling part. While you're contemplating, take another blank piece of paper, and while you're contemplating your personal artwork that you've just created, start with the questions that I'm going to be asking now. There is a PDF that you can download that have these questions. So it would be, first question would be written. All questions are written with your dominant hand, the hand that you usually write with, and pick one color for your dominant hand. The first question is, who or what are you? Then take another color with your other hand, your non-dominant hand, that you don't usually write with, and answer that question. And it's a bit awkward and sort of fun because you're usually slowed down because you don't normally write with that hand, and it can be, it usually is very childlike. There can be misspellings. This is your inner child speaking, your intuition. Nothing is supposed to be perfect about this. It might speak in metaphors. Just let it come out. Now you can print or you can use cursive. And then you go, once you've answered that, do a question, answer it before you go on to the next question. That's very important. Don't write all the questions at once and then answer them all at once. Each individually. Question, answer it, next question. Next question would be, how do you feel? So write that one out. with your dominant hand, with the color you used for the question number 1. Keep the color consistent for the questions that you are writing out, and keep the color consistent for the answers when you write out the answers. So write that. And then there are many ways you can ask the following questions, but in the realm of, they don't have to be exact, but the third one would be, what causes you to feel this way? Once again, dominant hand writes that question out. The non-dominant hand answers it. The fourth question, how may I help? Write out the question and be patient and allow yourself to slow down to write the answer to how may I help. The fifth question would be, is there anything more you want to tell me? Because very often after you've gotten to the point of how do you feel, what causes you to feel this way, and you've expressed yourself, how may I help? So, some real gold, you're kind of in the swing of things, and some real gold can come out, like, is there more you want to tell me? It could be something very unexpected, or in line with what you're interviewing and dialogue has been prior to that around the earlier questions. But it's always fun to ask, is there anything more? And then answer that. Now, there should be some pearls in that, some things that your heart, your inner child has spoken to you about how you really feel, and perhaps some action steps by how may I help, and things you might change by what causes you to feel this way, to review that sort of whatever it is that causes you to feel that way, and think of ways to perhaps change that or add to it or make it different. And you, even with how may I help, you can say, are there more ways for you to help? You can make up your own questions to lengthen each topic. But you ask the questions, your inquiries, with the dominant hand, and you answer them with the non-dominant hand. That is the key, because you're culling your right brain brilliance. And so this allows the right brain, where the limbic system and your emotions and your intuition, people can say psychic abilities, etc., that is attributed to the right brain. But it's not giving you headlines specifically about what's going on. So by this dominant, non-dominant writing technique and asking questions and answering, we connect the two hemispheres through the corpus callosum, which is a bundle of nerves between the right hemisphere and the left hemisphere of the brain. So it's a wonderful method, because we're bringing information together, so that what the journaling does is it puts in words emotions, feelings, things that you might be feeling, but you really are not quite sure what they're about. So be prepared for some surprises and get curious about them, and make sure that you think of some action steps when you discover a little more about what your emotions and what your intuition and what your inner child is really wanting. because listening to ourselves and aligning ourselves in the real world with the values that we discover through this type of journaling really improves our lives because we're more aligned with who we are. So I wish you luck. It's a lot more than luck. It's practical advice. So anyway, please look at my other videos and remember that a miracle is simply a shift in perception. And these 4 videos are motivated by my desire to give you practical tools to keep you on the right track, being able to shift situations that are not comfortable or positive for you into a much better place, into acceptance or excitement or curiosity or adventure. There's any place you can take them anywhere, depending on how you view them, where you stand, what pair of glasses you put on. Just like 3D glasses in the movie theater, it changes the whole thing. All right. Thanks for listening, Creative Brain Balance Programs. And I'll be back with more video series. Do take a gander at the other 3. One's MetaView, another process, one's geography, and one's tips and quick fixes when you're on the road, just a few things you can use to turn things around if you feel your energy dropping. And they're quick fixes. All righty, take care. Bye now.